Hi, I'm Tammy Ketterman with Ketterman's Jewelers, and I'm here in my kitchen in Philmont, Virginia, where I make rum cakes for the jewelry store every year, hundreds of them. This morning, I'm going to show you how to make just one. So if you want to make one at home, you can, and you can see me do it. This whole rum cake thing started by accident. I don't know if y'all realize it, but you can't serve alcohol and have a cash register open in the state of Virginia. So we thought, well, there's all kinds of businesses that are going around that. What could we do? So we just decided, well, instead of serving alcohol, we'll serve rum cake. The nice thing about rum cake is you cook it so much that most of the rum goes away and just leaves the taste. So over the years, I've been trying to perfect my technique of doing it. I don't know if it's perfect, but it works for me. My husband has bought me some nice heavy bundt pans, and I have learned when you use your pan, it has to be the one for baking or it will stick. Also, Domino sugar seems to work the best. Otherwise, again, they stick. I changed the original recipe, which came from a church cookbook from the 1960s, I think. I use almonds instead of pecans, mainly because the almonds are a little less expensive and they're also biblical. I line my bundt pan with the sugar, and then I put in the almonds in the bottom. And now I have to break a few eggs. So I usually make my rum cakes in double batches. So excuse me if I stumble a little bit as I try to make just one. But each cake takes 4 eggs. So I break in the eggs first. Then we add a half a cup of water. Just so I could stay in front of the camera, I brought the water to the camera. A half a cup of oil, regular old vegetable oil, and I do use Bacardi rum. I've tried other types, they're all good. Haven't met a bad rum, but that just seems to be the one they stock the most of, and it comes in a plastic container that it's easier to carry when you're carrying out 8 of these bottles of rum. So now I use a 1 box of butter cake mix and a box of Jell-O instant pudding. Has to be instant, I'm not sure why, but I'm sure there's some science there. Maybe if one of you know, you can write in and tell me what the science is on the instant thing. One of the little tips that I've learned is to always put the cake mix in first, because the pudding mix is heavier and it will drop right to the bottom and get stuck on the bottom as you're beating your cake. I'll bring my mixer over here. This is actually the mixer that belonged to my Hattie cakes. My old KitchenAid gave out just about the time this one came available, and this one has been my mixer now for almost 6 years. Just make sure I get all the dry in there. Give it one time around. It doesn't need to be beat to death. You can catch the drips. It doesn't seem the right consistency to me, but that's because I'm used to making such big batches. It just doesn't seem right. But it is. Filled the pan up just right. And now I'll put it in the oven at 325 degrees for 50 to 55 minutes, depending on whether I use my upper oven or my lower oven. And when I take it out, I'll put the glaze on. I'll come back and tell you how to make the glaze. Hey, I'm back again. Got my cake ready to put in my oven that's set at 325 degrees. If I was to tell you the truth, mine's only set at 300 because it's old and it's finicky and I've learned how to use it. But anyway, 325 for 50 to 55 minutes. Put it in. walk away, do whatever you need to do, and voila! Look at that. Just 50 to 55 minutes, short minutes later, we've got a beautiful rum cake ready for glazing. Okay, now we're ready to glaze this nice hot rum cake. So we start with the pan. We use 1 cup of sugar, 1 stick of butter, a 1/4 cup of water, well, a little less than a 1/4 cup, and a 1/4 cup of rum, and we'll make up for that water we lost. And turn it on. Now we've got to bring this to a boil. And not only is my oven old, but so is my cooktop. So you bring this to a boil. You don't have to stand over it. This is going to take a couple of minutes. So while I stand here, go get yourself a cup of coffee, and I'll be right back. Okay, been stirring, walking away, doing other stuff, but my glaze is at a nice boil. You let it boil for a minute while you stir it so it doesn't turn into some sort of caramel mixture that solidifies your teeth together. And then, even while it's still hot, you pour it all of that wonderful, sugary, buttery, rummy goodness goes over that cake while it's still in the pan, and I let it sit there for at least 2 hours, if not longer. And then I usually make my rum cakes far enough ahead of time that I can freeze them, because I find that when they thaw, it locks in the moisture. I actually did a test with my dad, and I took him a rum cake I had just made and hadn't frozen. I took him one that I had frozen and thawed, and he preferred the thawed. So we used the daddy method of making rum cakes. So that's how you do it. Dump it out of the pan in an hour, put it in the freezer if you want to. Of course, you wrap it up in cellophane real good and tight. I've taken them out before and had to thaw them in the microwave. You can do that on defrost, but best thing to do is just take it out the morning of whatever party you're going to and serve it. So thanks for joining me in my kitchen. You be blessed.